Hi, this is Maginoni, and here's some comic reviews for you. This is going to be a combination of some Marvel, some Civil War tie-ins with Rebirth stuff. So let's take a look here. First up, though, is Snot Girl. I don't know, Snot Girl is kind of like this guilty pleasure for me because this girl is just this hot mess. And she's this type of girl that is turning into a character you really despise. She's petty and very childlike, mature at times, and I'm just waiting for something really, truly. I'll just put it this way: I'm waiting for karma to come smack her up later, but I don't know. It's guilty pleasure. I can't help it. But basically, she's at a party and she just goes off the deep end at the party. It's like a bad episode of like those. Like Beverly Hills 90210 or, those types of shows. Let's go over to Rebirth now. We have Suicide Squad number 3. Now, originally I was going to drop Suicide Squad, but since I dropped the X-Men, I figured, alright, I'll give this one last chance. And I'm actually kind of glad I gave it that one more chance. Basically, the fight with Zod actually was pretty entertaining. They're clearly outclassed. But they're doing a decent job at holding him off temporarily. But the one thing that was making me worry about the book was like, how are these guys going to defeat Zod? And I didn't want this thing to be like a 8-issue series of just them fighting Zod. But by the end of this issue here, they quickly are moving on to something else, and that was actually what gave me hope. And I'll probably pick up the next issue. The art was great. Fight sequence was pretty decent overall. And overall was pretty happy with this book. There was some really odd moments in it. But Harley Quinn was kind of funny at times. Katana did a really good job. The Enchantress is just like... It's basically... you have a villain who talks way too much. And it gives the hero time to smack her around, and that's basically what happens here. It's like classic. So overall, like I said, I really enjoyed it. All right, Teen Titans Rebirth. Originally, I was not going to buy this, but I really like Damian, and I figured, okay, since I like Damian, I'll give it a try. And this really had me wondering what the heck is going on here. It's basically all the Titans are getting subdued, and I don't want to spoil everything, but I'll just say the end made me going, why are we going through all this process? I mean, I'm sure there's this grand plan for this to happen, why everything is happening, but I'm like, I don't get it. The other part of me that also is going, like, I feel torn with is because, like, I see Beast Boy, and Beast Boy is pretty much like this, like, he's less than what he was before. Now, granted, Beast Boy wasn't like what I would call the greatest character in the world, but he was funny, he was entertaining, and they kind of, even though he was like on a B level, maybe a C level, now he's definitely downgraded even more being in this book. So that part's a shame. Same thing with Starfire too. They downgraded her. Raven, Raven's not even Raven anymore. So I don't know. Will I get the next issue? Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what's going on, but I don't know how long I'm going to stay with this book. The art was pretty decent overall. Kind of, like, if you were to compare it against some of the other books out there, I guess you can say it's a little bit more cartoony, so to speak. But it was all right. I mean, it was all right, decent. Okay. Titans number 3. Okay, we learn a bit more about Kadabra's plan. We learn more about Wally West and how he got displaced into time. Overall, I thought this book was great. They talk about some of the, I guess just gonna say strength, weaknesses to some of the characters, but they do it in a way that it updates new readers, reminds older readers, and it doesn't necessarily sound like it's preaching. Like, for an example, you have a panel that says, here's Wally West, and they go over in a dialogue box. My name is Wally West. I'm the fastest man alive. I really like, long runs, chicken tenders, and Michael Bay movies. They don't do it like that. So overall, I thought that part was good. The one thing though I thought was really odd is you got Wally. He comes in, he zooms in on Linda really quick, running in, going, "Oh my gosh, look, some craziness. I'm not a stalker type, blah blah blah." And then she's like, "Okay, well, thanks. I'm not really gonna date you now, but bye." And Wally goes, "Okay, bye," and he just kind of like turns and walks away. It's kind of like the way I was viewing this scene here was, imagine like, you ask some girl out and you're super hyped and excited. You want to ask her. You come charging in, knight on a horse with your sword, your armor polished, your shield, and everything's looking great. And then you go, I'm gonna go. You data dump her, and then she just goes, yeah, maybe not now. And then you just kind of turn around and you do the walk of shame. You walk really slow. You're the back of your mind, you're hoping that maybe she'll change her mind before you get out of eyesight, or before she even turns around. But I mean, this is what Wally's doing. He kind of just literally probably like one of the fastest men alive, just basically runs in, says his piece, and turns and walks slowly away. Oh, that was cringeworthy. But overall, though, I did enjoy the book. All right, Detective 941. Some interesting turns happen in this. You also get some nice, really character development with spoiler, and I thought that part was good. The art was decent. I really wish there was a little bit more fighting with the monsters, but the real thrust of this book is the humans in the cave, and the Gothamites in the cave, and how they're starting to get angry with each other, and there's a little bit more stuff like with Clayface and how he's being strained. So it's basically everybody being strained to their limits is the primary focus of this one. So there's not as much of the monster fighting. Gotham Girl does take care of that part, that need for me, so I'm appreciative of that. The art was good, writing was pretty good, so overall, another great job of Detective. I do think, though, that the Detective issues before this were better, though. So it's a step down from the start, but I think overall the quality is still pretty high. Okay, Civil War tie-in, Miss Marvel number 11. This is basically Kamala trying to prove Carol wrong. And, while she's got her heart in the right place, she's got to understand that this is not, the proper way to do it. And, overall, the story was really good. I think that in terms of the tie-in, this was a better tie-in, because it actually focused more on Carol and her, her basically philosophy on trying to, basically capture people before they commit crimes and imprison them. So overall, I thought that addressed things more. It did it in a better way, and I think overall, again, this was a great issue. There's also the breaking of the bond between Carol and Kamala. They're not as friendly on good terms anymore, because Kamala is coming against odds to what Carol believes in. And Carol's, I guess you can say, she's not really being the greatest adult about the whole thing, and she's basically cutting Kamala loose. Which, it's all this, like I said, just creates better storytelling. So overall, fantastic book again. Nova. Okay, now this one was a letdown. It's basically Sam going off into space, and he wants to figure out how his helmet works. Well, you would think that this would be like an 18-page series, as he's going through space, going through trials, eventually meeting that world mind thing, and then finding out exactly how everything works, finds out secret to his dad, comes back home triumphant. No, all that's handled in one issue. He knows, I mean, without spoiling things too much, because I don't think it's really that big of a spoiler, he finds out that his dad is not dead. Which, they've already alluded to that multiple times, so that part's not the spoiler. He learns, like, in 2 pages, this is how your helmet works. Problem solved. But he talks to somebody inside the helmet. And now, I won't spoil it, but if you've seen the classified in Nova, if you've seen this classified nonsense here about saying, somebody, oh, look at that, somebody's back, somebody returns, classified can't tell you. Well, if you read this book, it tells you who comes back. Unfreaking believable. I cannot believe Marvel did that. And, it just boggles my mind. It's like the editorial staff didn't know what was going on. And they basically, editorial staff told the writer, okay, this is the path, everything is good. End it that way, it's great. And then marketing goes, nobody's going to read Nova, number 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to put out this teaser thing that's classified. We're not going to tell you who's back. Big surprise. You're going to have to wait till Nova number 1 to find out. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. Well, geez. I was just like, you know what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to swerve everybody. And they're probably going to put, Powerhouse and Condor are back or something stupid like that. But, it was just my God. I can't believe they ruined the big reveal beforehand. It's just boggles my mind sometimes how these things work. All right, New Avengers 16. It's pretty pathetic how they keep saying this is a Civil War tie-in, because technically that tie-in is done, and they just use it as the tie-in so this way they can say, well, this is how S.H.I.E.L.D. finds everybody, because Ulysses was able to, they ask, where is Songbird and everybody? And Ulysses goes, oh, they're here. And that's not quite how his power works. His power is basically random, and you can't force it to happen. It just happens, and he gets random images. So I'm like, there's a situation where you have a writing staff who doesn't understand how the power works, and yet they change things to force feed their story, which is pretty pathetic. The fight was okay. The evil Reed Richards guy is acting very unlike he did in the Ultimate Universe, which is very sad. He has some of the mannerisms the same, but technically, this Avenger team should have been destroyed a long time ago. Squirrel Girl was awesome. Awesome moments with her. Can't complain about that. And she's probably one of the only reasons why I'm still reading this book. This book is, it's getting very close to being canceled for me, because I refuse to buy USA Avenger. Refuse. Spider-Woman. Now, this actually was one of my favorite books of the week. While DC books were pretty strong overall, there was something about this one that I really, truly liked. Because it basically was Jessica who has to deal with the ramifications of, her helping Carol, validate Ulysses' power. And while she's doing that, and while she's being convinced, maybe this power is good, the Hulk dies. Or is killed, I should say. And, they show a little beginning part where, like a bonding moment between her and Bruce, and try to show that, they were close at one time. That part was good. And eventually things go to blows between Carol and Jessica. Overall, this was a really, really good book. It shows a breakdown of a friendship. And to me, this was a really good tie-in in the sense because it shows how relationships are truly breaking down. It's not like, well, we oppose you, so we're just going to fight. This is actually a character who's struggling because it's her best friend. and she struggles with the fact that, like Carol is responsible for Bruce getting killed, and it's not like they can even validate that he would have turned into the Hulk and rampaged at any time. They can't even prove that. So all that part was great, and this was, like I said, a Spider-Woman overall. It has been a very strong, surprisingly strong book. 11 issues in, I have not been disappointed with any of the issues so far. So that actually is truly amazing in itself. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Like, share, and we'll have some more reviews and stuff later. So until next time.